Today, the Mercury Marine destination takes us up to Cree Lake in northern Saskatchewan. For Pike, Cree Lake is Charlie's home away from home in the spring, and for good reason. The pike fishing is fantastic. Today starts cool and windy, but with any pike area in the early season, the afternoon sun warms up the shallows and the day changes fast. Quality tackle is a must for big fish, and attention to even the slightest detail can make or break the day. Charlie joins co-owner of Cree Lake Lodge, Brandon Schreiber, and the magic begins. Bring on the sun and light 'em up this week on Fishful Thinking. Fishful Thinking is brought to you by Mercury Marine. Princecraft boats dominate the waters. Viking 100% waterproof rain gear. And Ram trucks built to serve. Water conditions are brought to you by Humminbird Fish Finders. Get the big picture. Big waters can blow up fast, but you can be more comfortable. Smooth out your ride with Smooth Move's shock-absorbing seat suspensions.
Nice a little chunky to start with, Brandon.
Right on.
Swing them back to you. They're gonna love these plastics again today.
Oh yeah.
It's hard to switch away from something.
There,
Oh, thank you, sir.
Nice.
Hard to switch away from something that's working so well, but change up the colors, change up the sizes, make sure it's running straight. And when they're not running straight, they just do not produce. There's another one. Looks like it saved my plastic. Geez, they're girthy fish. Even at that size, they're just girthy. Thank you, sir.
That's nice fish spawn.
Nice,
Looks like
nice.
they've been doing some spawning in here in these shallows, Charlie.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Check the line. Check your leader. Make sure everything. Biggest problem a lot of people have is they don't balance their swim baits. They use too big of a hook on too small of a plastic, or too small of a hook on too big of a plastic. It's got to be balanced. It's got to run straight, stay upright, and not twist when it's swimming. And like I always do, especially if there's a lot of debris around, I just stretch the plastic, pull up, and tuck back in so only a fish will pop that out when it hits. But even casting all day long, day after day after day, people forget. They check the leader, but they never check this 1.5 foot of line. Snapping it off the rod tip hour after hour after hour. Especially after the end of a day. Retie it before the next one. Preferably twice a day. And always check it for abrasion. But it's those little things that happen when you finally hook that big fish you've been looking for that breaks. And you gotta be ready. Wow, I love it when I can see them come up and eat this. These Revo glasses really cut the glare. Not only do they protect your eyes from everything, UVA, B, C, blue light, but the glare it cuts is wonderful. That's a solid fish.
Yeah, that's not a bad fish. Not a bad fish for an overcast, windy day, Charlie.
No, not bad at all. But I cannot stress balancing these swim baits. I have people say I can't get them to swim right. You just can't put a small hook in a big piece of plastic or a big hook in a small plastic. It just doesn't run right. You want that tail whapping, you want it upright, swimming, natural. If it's on its side, if it's corkscrewing, it just doesn't work. Thank you, sir.
That's not a bad fish, Charlie.
Nah, beauty.
Yeah, good hill. Oh, let her go.
No worse for wear. It's not enough to make sure you set the hook hard enough on these fish. You got to make sure your reel drag is set properly to stick these fish. They're all bone and gristle. You got to get that hook into them. That's a nice fish.
Not a bad pike. It's a pretty good one, actually.
Pardon, Brandon?
It's not a bad one at all right there.
It is not. Almost nettable,
Yeah,
except I'm spoiled here.
just a nice fish.
That's a gorgeous fish.
It is. If I can get a hand on it.
Those Freedom heads and set the hook plastics, they just keep working.
Yep, hooked nicely. Look at that. Another great fish.
They're gorgeous.
Is it?
Yeah.
Healthy. Away she goes.
Thank you, sir.
You bet. Another good one.
Another good one. Yeah, I've redone that knot. And a lot of you folks, if you're not comfortable with your knots, it is the weak spot on your line. Double your line and make the same knot. Even a bad knot with double the thickness of the line is still going to be a lot stronger. So if you're not comfortable with your knots and you're like, I think this is 40-pound Seagar Smackdown. If you have a bad knot in it, it could only be 20, 15. But even with a poor knot, doubling that, you're still up to 30. Any phrase, good knot, good line. Check that hook, still sharp. And if you get a rip, sometimes you get a rip in the plastic under here and it will stop it from the proper action. You want that tail wagging. Wag it like a dog. Cool. Let's get another one.
Light them up, Charlie.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Mercury. Power and dependability you can count on.
You know, sometimes it's hard to keep track of all the pieces of a two-piece rod, especially when they're all from the same style. Now, sometimes you get lucky and you can intermix them and they still work okay, but it's never as good as getting them back together as the original blank was designed. Now, you can use permanent markers or something I like doing. I color code them with nail polish, and that way they go back together exactly the same every time, and there's no chance of mixing them up anymore.
Conditions today are brought to you by Revo Sunglasses, technology that performs.
Very nice fish, Charlie.
If we haven't caught so many, that'd be nettable, but we'll give you the challenge.
Starting to turn on a little bit.
Yeah,
Action, you might go for a run here.
yeah, just let go if it does. But that 130 leader, I'll check it each night. Half the time I get the whole trip out of that leader, but it gives you something great to hold on to. The fish wraps in it, doesn't hurt it.
Oh, don't take his tail. That's a beautiful fish.
Thank you, sir.
Healthy fish. And gone.
Sometimes you think that leader's getting frayed up, but it's just the pike slime on it. You rub that down, it's still great. See, the thing with the Seagar Fluorocarbon, it has the same or almost the same refraction index as water. So out of the water like this, it looks like monofilament. You think the fish would see it, but in the water, it almost turns to water. And it's really, really hard. And tying the knots with this, have a good set of cutters handy because it's tough stuff. And too many fancy knots are not going to work with this. It's too stiff. Some people will crimp it. I just like a simple knot. And by a simple knot, I'm talking 1 wrap, 2 wraps, that's it. Back through, grab with the pliers, pull tight. That's still not enough. Grab that line, really snug it down, and you'll see, there it goes. When that tag end shoots straight up at that 90-degree angle, that knot's not going to slip. If it looks loose, if that line is bent off this direction, it's not tight. You'll feel it cinch right up. It's got to shoot up at a 90-degree angle. Trim it, and it's not slipping. And that leader is just the best stuff for pike and muskie I've ever used. It can wrap in it. It doesn't cut into the fish. As you see Brandon back there, you can grab a leader to control a fish. You do that to the braid line, you're cutting your hands to ribbon. This stuff you can grab. Beautiful stuff. That was one of the hardest hits I've had in a long time. No nip, it just freight trained it. Now, I might be surprised it ends up being a small fish, but I don't think so. Oh, there you are.
Long.
It's not what I thought it was.
No. Longer.
Just very, very aggressive.
Still a nice pike.
Yeah, it's a very nice pike.
Actually, it's a pretty darn nice pike, actually. Little, you underestimate some of these big fish.
I do, until they're in the net.
Yeah, well, actually, just the pliers are there if you want to grab these ones.
Give me 1 second, Brandon.
Yep, the fish is fine. Just pop out of there.
Yeah, let me get them first then.
Look, that barely hooked in there.
He ever plow that? You know, that is a big fish. Look at the girth on it. It's heavy.
It's a great
It's
fish.
not one of those ones that are overly long, but it's fat.
Yeah, nice fish, buddy. Good stuff. Look at that. That one piled on there hard, and that fish bit, man.
It did. It did.
Good to see. Well, maybe things are going to pick up here for us, Charlie.
What's that?
Maybe things are going to pick up here for us.
It's water's warming up a little bit.
Yep.
There you go, buddy. And they're just starting to show. Wow, the small one grabbed it. This is the small one?
You're back to see a fish, catch a fish, Charlie.
That was good. That was nice. Like they say, these good glasses are worth their weight in gold. It's part of your essential equipment, because if you can't see them, you're not going to target them. That's a nice fish.
That one, Charlie.
Pardon me?
I think I'm going to grab the net for this one.
Yipper.
Come up on the front there with you.
That's a nice fish. Always sharpen that hook after every fish.
Yes, sir.
You got to get into that bone and gristle.
Nice fish.
And when you can, I love using single hooks on these things because it's so much easier on the fish.
It is. It's easier on us and the net and everything.
Let me make sure we got pliers. Oh, you got some pliers.
Right here.
Oh, geez. Okay, good man. You're quick. You're quick.
Right there. Oh. There it is. Good one, buddy.
That's thick. It's longer than you think it is because it's so fat. It didn't look that long. Very, very nice. Excellent. I'll get you back here, buddy boy. They need no reviving whatsoever. As soon as they hit this cold water, they're gone in a blink. You can tell he's feeding. Look at all the debris that came out of him. Sorry, buddy, you'll be hungry again. All right, there was a bigger one in there.
There was.
We're not done yet. Oh, come on up, baby. Wow. You know what? If it wasn't for the giants we've been getting, I'd put him in a net. But I think we can just. I'll bring him around, Brandon.
Are the pliers up front there, Charlie?
This is sight fishing. See a fish, catch a fish. There we go.
Oh my! They're nice, healthy fish, Charlie. Easy, girl.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
These Freedom heads. Set the hook plastic, nail or swim baits. Don't be cheap. You get a couple of rips in them, replace them, put another one on. It's real easy. You can see I've got an accumulation here on the side building up here. Let's see. Always make sure that hook is sharp, sticky, leader's good, and the nose, the more you do it, the easier it gets. Swing it around, lay the hook straight down the side, mark it with your thumb, straight up the belly, straight out the middle of the back, and they run perfectly straight that way. Easy breezy, but if it's got a kink in it, it will not swim. If you've got too small of a hook in it, you've got too much plastic. If you've got too big of a hook and one of the smaller set the hook plastics, it's not going to run right. You gotta balance this. And then it just swims naturally and sends out the right vibrations. All right, let's find another one. That looked like a good fish.
That was a good fish, buddy.
It's amazing how these things will turn on right now. They're running after the lures. All right, hopefully this guy's as big as we think he is.
It's a good fish. It's
Yeah, look at the girth on this.
Oh boy. That's a
ready.
nice one,
He's
Charlie.
not ready yet. He is not ready yet.
Charlie, look at that fish.
All right, you want to go in the net? You can go ballistic in the net, buddy.
Is he gonna go for a run, or?
I don't know why he isn't.
I'm gonna net him because I don't want him to get away.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Just leave him there. Oh,
There, I'll let him out because.
okay, he's landed.
Well, I just don't want him to freak out in the boat either.
He's landed.
Yeah, well, it's harder on the fish if you
Absolutely.
bring them in the boat when they're still that lively. You
Ooh,
can.
green. I don't need one busting my knuckles either.
That is. Wow.
This is nice. All right, he's back to visit.
Okay, Charlie, that is.
Here, you want me to spin him, or I guess you can get him.
That's a fish, buddy. That's a fish.
We'll get him in here, get the hook out, I'll hold him up. I'll put him back in the net, and I'm going to grab a picture of that.
Absolutely.
If you don't mind.
I don't mind.
That's a damn.
It's a beautiful looking fish too. The color and man, that's just a heck of a fish.
I'm going to say it again. These Revo glasses, I can see that fish. You could see him.
Yeah.
He just turned and just plowed it. Oh my gosh.
Heavy fish, Charlie.
Oh, baby, Brandon.
That thing is a
Look
tank,
at the girth.
Charlie.
Look at the girth on that.
That's a big
That's
fish.
way over 20 pounds.
Oh my goodness. Let's get the hook out of this girl, and we'll snap a couple photos.
Yeah.
This thing is huge, Charlie.
Look at the head on this.
Wow.
Look at, oh my gosh.
Let me get this net out of the way, buddy.
That's huge. I'm going to put him back in that, Brandon.
Yeah, sorry.
Look at that thing.
Holy smokes, buddy.
Okay, let's put him back in the water. I'm going to grab my camera. Yeah, so he's no worse for wear.
No. Wow.
Look at the back on that. That's 5 inches across. Now we took pictures with this, but we put it back in the net. And look at this, he's no worse for wear at all. Buddy, you want to go yet? I don't want to let you go yet. Look at this thing. Look at that fish. Oh, wow. And there's more back through here.
Yeah, we're gonna spend a little bit of time here, buddy.
Yeah.
Good job, Charlie.
That is awesome, Brandon.
Good fish, man.
Fishful Thinking is brought to you by Mercury Marine. Princecraft boats dominate the waters. Seagar Smackdown Performance braided fishing lines, and Ram trucks built to serve. Tackle today, Revo sunglasses with 100% protection from UV, A, B, and C. Freedom Hydra jig heads with swing hook action. 40-pound test Seagar Smackdown 8-strand braided lines. Daiwa Tatula 300 bait casting reel with the T-wing aperture. Viking cut-resistant NBR palm-coated gloves. Nailer swim baits by Set the Hook. Daiwa Rebellion 2-piece rods with high-volume graphite fiber. 130-pound test Seagar Abrasics Muskie and Pike leader. Viking 100% waterproof jackets, pants, and bibs. And the Mercury 60 horsepower 4-stroke outboard motor. Family owned and operated Cree Lake Lodge, a home away from home in northern Saskatchewan, specializing in trophy lake trout and pike on remote waters.
You know, a lot of people say they don't like lake trout fishing. They peel off line and they fight, and there's a big glow right there of a beautiful fish. Look at this. I can hardly hold on to it.